What's good, y'all? Welcome to thy channel. You are hearing the voice of Mrs. Best. We are here to go over the Buy in Beverly Hills recap and review. This for season 2, episode 7, titled No Loyalty. Um, this show was boring as hell. I'm not gonna lie, like the first few episodes, but like now that we're nearing not even I guess the end, but once we hit like the halfway point of the show, they give you 10 episodes a season. I was like, okay, I'm really invested in this. It's interesting. And it's just proof that you can be invested in a reality show and you can have the idea of what people think of as drama without people having to fight, act the fool, and act ignorant, because they all do that. All of these housewives and stuff be acting a fool. But let's jump into the episode, you guys. It starts with Brandon, Tyler, Sophia. These three are out to eat. And this is where Sophia fills Brandon in on everything that happened with Adam back in Miami. Um, Stop talking about this. You like you're not supposed to, as a female, be so thirsty over a dude. Like, and he don't want neither of them. So I just want her to stop talking about it. Sophia's supposed to be here interning, and it seems like she's just enjoying the benefits of being her dad's daughter and working for the company. And nothing's wrong with that. I stand by what I stand by. Okay. Sophia needs to go into modeling. She's at the front. She's got the exotic look. She should go into modeling. And with modeling, she could literally get paid to stand around like she's been doing. Now, I like her a lot, but I'm like, you're supposed to be interning. You're supposed to be getting into real estate. When we met Alexia, she was like fighting to prove her worth and show that she's willing to, work her tail off. Sophia, stop talking about this boy, girl. Anywho, they move on to discuss Joey. And Joey, they move on to discuss basically what Joey said to Brandon, which was that he only put Alexia on the listing that they are co-listing so that he can hit it one more time. Let me tell y'all, when I say that Brandon is messy, I've been saying this about Brandon for some time, but I stand by it. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. He is messy. Because why are you talking about this? You were just crying to Ben about being unfollowed on social media and all this crazy stuff. And Ben is looking at you like, okay, it's kind of unprofessional to cry about it. Like, even though it's important, there was a different way he could have approached it. That's when I was looking at Brandon with a side eye, because I was like, really? Who cares? You have all these other people teaching you. So I don't know. I just feel like Brandon's messy in a lot of different ways. Professionally, I feel like everybody has their flaw, and I feel like that's Brandon's flaw. Mind your business, dude. And why did you sell it to her as if he was really like, we only sharing this property because I want to tap that thing one more time? He said it jokingly because he knew that he was digging for mess, because y'all know Joey has dry humor. Anywho, Brandon had his messy moment, and then we move on to see Zach and Farrah looking at homes on Nemes Road, which is legendary in Bel Air, Los Angeles, that whole area. As quiet as it's kept, Beverly Hills is nice, but the real money's in Bel Air. I said what I said. If you know, you know. Yes, there's money in Beverly Hills, but Beverly Hills has they call it the flats and all that. It's nice, but Bel Air is not like that. It's much more bougie. I believe that's where was it where Lisa Vanderpump and Adrian Malouf lived, in those ginormous homes that were like the size of a super Walmart. In season 1 of Beverly Hills, because now Lisa's in Villa Rosa, which is beautiful, but she was in another house that was like legitimately like a block of houses, like in terms of size, like super Target, big Kmart, like crazy in size, these homes. Anywho, they're in a neighborhood like that. This neighborhood is also the neighborhood of former presidents such as Ronald Reagan, extremely rich and elite people. It's interesting because the house, like, I understood that there was like a little Tuscany vibe to it, but I felt like it was ugly. Like, it was just this big structure. I felt like the driveway was the nicest thing, but hey, it's for somebody, and it's definitely not in my price range. So I'm going to mind my Black owned business. Moving on, you guys. Farrah and Zach basically seem to work well together. I can say that. I don't like that everybody's trying to allude that the vibe between these two is something that's like intimate or that could become sexual. One, he's married. That's rude. Two, sometimes you just work well with people. Shout out to Jerry Luger. Worked so well with him. Megan, who I've worked with as well in the past. These are people in my personal life who I met just working with. Some people you just work really well with. My spouse, oddly, we work well together, but we also learn we're twin flames, and twin flames usually work well together. Just as a side note, but when you work well with people, there's a difference between a working relationship and an actual relationship. And I hate when people compare it to like that's her work husband or no, it's not that. Y'all just mesh. Anywho, these two are looking at the home, and Farrah mentions to Jack the things that were said about her partner from that she heard about that were very negative. And Zach makes it clear in the confessional that, you know, something clearly is not right with Farrah's relationship. We obviously have not scratched the surface of the truth, but it's not people's business to dig. And I kind of respect it that way. Like you're on a reality show. So, yes, you have to comment on it. But where a lot of new age reality stars mess up is they want to talk about it in like a gossipy type of way. And that's the mistake you make if someone's your friend. You could go to the confessional and speak your truth like Ben did. Then you're still being honest and doing your job, but you're not throwing someone under the bus or being messy and petty. I mean, I'm just saying where there's a will, there's a way. People just don't like to think things thoroughly because they lazy. It's just how it is. Anywho, so basically, I found it interesting that Farrah did not mention to Zach the things that were alluded about those two in their working relationship. I was like, that's very, very, very strange. But she does ask Zach to talk to Ben for her. Why can't you talk to Ben? Why does he need to talk to Ben for you? You having that man, someone else's husband, talk to Ben for you, coming to your aid and your rescue makes it kind of plays into the rumor just a little bit. I'm not going to like BS. I'm just here to comment my opinions, you know? I don't know. I just felt like that wasn't the way to handle it. How do you guys feel? For those watching the live replay, was good live replay gang, Thug Life. But how do y'all feel about that? Don't you feel like Farrah expecting him to kind of come to her aid and defend her, facilitate a conversation? Doesn't that I don't know. We know that didn't happen in the end, but that just seems weird. Moving on, you guys, your friendly reminder. If you've made it this far, please give the video a lovely little like. Back at the office, we see Alexia and Zach discussing the rustic property, which they seem to have a lot of rustic properties and ranches and all of that within this doggone company. But Joey says that he appreciates Alexia as a person because they end up talking and he has some special in his life. He's making it sound like he's going to propose to her, but he just wants to ask her to co-list another property. I know some people are like, oh, he is messy. What is that about? You know what I mean? Like because in the earlier episodes, he made it seem as though the property that he was co-listed with Alexia, that he was only co-listing it because of her name. Her last name is Umansky. She is the daughter of Mo. So, you know, now it seems like he's starting to respect her more as an agent. But I'm also starting to notice with Joey that he just has really dry humor that most people can't identify because it causes them to have to admit that they're more sensitive than they may, you know, be willing to acknowledge. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyhow, so these, she basically agrees to co-list the property. I don't know. The only reason I'm commenting on this, you guys, is because I personally feel like if Alexia was single and Joey was single in the place that they were today and how they are as agents, I genuinely feel like they would try to give it a go with each other. I mean, I don't know. You never know. Hey, my one night stand turned into a 15-year marriage that I'm still in. So you never know. You never know. Sometimes it's okay to spin the block, as they say. It works. Moving it along, Farrah goes to chat with Mauricio, and we see that she and Mauricio are both going through it in their relationships, which is interesting because he raised her since she was 5. Farrah's father is in her life, though. He lives in Indonesia or India. I believe Bali, I think is where he is. That's Indonesia. Anywho, he is across the globe, but he visits America like quite often. And all of those things is really good with Mauricio. He's also still good friends with Kyle. So I actually like that. But obviously, Kyle like foreign men. You went from the guy of a European, Indian, or Middle Eastern descent. I don't want to use the incorrect term, to the Jewish man from Mexico. Kyle said, I know that I am a white woman, but that does not mean that I have to date my own people. And she learned Spanish from Mauricio, so I respect that. If you're going to date someone who's of opposite culture, I think that if you love each other, learn your cultures, right? Anywho, Farrah and Mo are talking about their relationships. They are both going through it. We already know publicly what's been going on with Kyle and Mo. In real time, they are divorcing. They still have not filed for divorce. They haven't filed for separation. They are in California, so in California you can divorce without legal separation. But she's definitely taken her time. She just recently removed Umansky from her like online socials and things like that. It's really sad. Like regardless on how we feel about Kyle, for our Beverly Hills fans, like they were married for over 25 years. They have 4 daughters who obviously turned out well. They definitely carried themselves well. They had a beautiful family together and obviously good memories. Now, not all good things will last forever, but it is unfortunate that something happened in the marriage that is obviously causing them both pain and their kids pain. So I just want to say that we should not be so rough online to you net bangers and internet thugs. To these people, even though they're on TV, they are still humans, and we should try not to like be bullies or like assholes from time to time. Like, comment your opinions, start a YouTube channel like me and leave it there. You don't got to harass these people. But yeah, I do feel for this family. But it's interesting how Kyle on Beverly Hills does not want to talk about nothing, is entirely closed-lipped, even though she has been overly obnoxious while in other people's business and marriages on her 13 years on the show. But it's nice to see that her kids are pretty open. You know, Farrah is still somewhat private, but she's still willing to admit, like, I'm not 100% in my relationship and I don't know that I want this. And you can do that without telling us every little thing in detail about your life. So, you know, and Mauricio has at least spoken about, you know, his feelings and trying to save the marriage with Kyle. Kyle barely acknowledged that they were struggling in the marriage. It took a dinner and her snapping, looking like she was about to split in two from Ozempic with some bad hair, for her to say to the ladies, maybe I have been having a hard time in my marriage. So I don't know, Kyle, I think you should take notes from your children. That's the thing. Older people, you can learn from anybody, whether they're younger than you, older than you, or the same age as you. She should definitely take notes from her children, because we know she ain't going to do what Mauricio's doing. It's okay to share your life. Just do so in a way that's fair and makes sense. But he's been trying to get back on better terms with Kyle. He says he's fighting for his marriage. The problem he says he's having is when they look at their calendars, their schedules are crazy. He is the CEO and creator of one of the top luxury real estate companies worldwide. And let's keep it real. I'm not trying to be funny, y'all. If Beverly Hills disappears, Kyle without Mo, like, yeah, she's got money, but not money that would last long. Mo, with what he's doing in real estate and that direct commission, how this, you know, the profit and loss, things of that nature. I just feel like in terms of assets, cash on hand, things of that nature, like Mo may be in a better space, you know, because I feel like a lot of these Bravo stars, they leave Bravo and then, you know, you got to come back on reality TV because you can't maintain the lifestyle that, you know, you're trying to keep up with. I'm not saying that it happened to Kyle, but I don't know. Yeah. Kyle, change your schedule. You have a lot less going on. Yes, she's a Halloween movie actress, but other than Halloween, what we see her in? What other shows is she doing? We're not seeing her host things. She's not really getting that many interviews anymore because in all the interviews, she's never honest. So I doubt people are still, you know, asking for those. So it's like, I feel like, yes, if Mo did something to you that broke your trust, which she did say, and I don't think we should dig for that, respect people's marriage to that extent. But if Mo did something to break your trust, Determine if the trust can be fixed by going to therapy. Determine if you want to work on it. If you choose to work on something and stay in something, then you have to do your part too. And I just feel like, girl, you're not always on TV. So like make time, try to make it work. But we know that she don't want that. And that's totally fine. That's why they separating today. Moving on, Ben and Tyler are looking at the Hollywood Hills home that we've seen. The house that's like, the house is 3 stories. It's like multiple stories. I don't like that. That's my thing with some of these houses in Hollywood. They were trying to sell this house for like 16 million at some point. You can see into your neighbor's living room, bedroom, basement, and kitchen from anywhere in your house, because that's how close the homes are, specifically in the Hollywood Hills. This is why places like Beverly Hills, it's like, okay, I could get a property and my neighbor not be able to hear me breathe or fart in the morning, you know? Those types of things. So he struggled to sell this house. And the other weird thing is, it's like, you know, you think you come into the first room and you have a living room, and then maybe you go and you have a dining room or a great room, hallway, you know, a sitting room, things like that, all on one floor. Well, in this house, everything's individual. So it's like the second floor is the bedroom, and the bedroom looks out at this beautiful view of Los Angeles. Yes, but what people don't realize is the smog, it's coming back. That's going to impact your view. 2, you're in the Hollywood Hills. It's not going to be quiet. And then 3, if you look to your left, right, up, or down, you can see someone else's house, which means if you can see them, they can see you. So craziness, craziness, craziness. But Ben is not able to sell the home. He's going to lose the listing, and it does expire in 4 days. Nobody's going to pay that much money to see their neighbors. It's that simple. It's that simple. And I think Ben knows it, but sometimes the owner of the home is not willing to take the advice of the real estate agent, you know, whose job it is to sell homes. I don't know why people do this, but they do. It sounds like Ben advised this person to come down and said he could sell it for 12, and the guy took too long to lower the price, so it had just been on the market so long. It's a beautiful property. I don't know. We have a housing shortage in California. You know, find some people to help, donate, get a tax write-off, have them pay you rent or something, Mr. Property Owner. Move it on, you guys. Again, if you are still here after 17 minutes, do me a favor and like the video. It's an easy and free way to support us. We do appreciate you. We'd also appreciate it if you subscribe. If you don't subscribe, that is okay. Totally okay. I just realized too, apologies to you guys. We forgot to get the banner going across the bottom. We do recaps here weekly, so there's the information for those who want to make suggestions for what shows you'd like to see us recap here on the channel, whether you want to see me recap it or recap it with James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. Let me know if you want to collaborate, if you're another creator, things of that nature. There's also information for those who do choose that they want to support the channel via donations and things like that. So we appreciate all of you in advance. Anywho's, moving on, everybody's going to, I believe it was Yarman, to buy jewelry. And I like this. So the agency partners and does give back, which I respect. I do feel like Kyle has done several events too on Beverly Hills. It seems like they give back. I feel like that's a good thing. Keep the good energy around your money and give back when you can. But Farrah talks to Ben at this event about what she heard he said about her fiance, who's now her ex, Alex. Ben doubles down and says that he does think that he does in fact believe and feel that Alex is a bozo, which I thought was funny as hell. Here's my thing. Farrah, I understand you don't like Ben's opinion, but you have spoken about your relationship now on a show for 2 seasons. You're a public figure because of your parents, and now you're building your own name. So people are going to want to learn about you. But fun fact, if you don't talk about your relationship at all and just let the people comment on like body language or stuff, fine. But you are the reason that these rumors are out there, because you are talking to your coworkers, who I know are your friends, some of them, about your relationship. And it's obvious here. And then you're doing it in a way where it's like, well, why are you talking to me if you're not going to, you know, keep it real? Why are you talking to me if you're not going to thoroughly explain yourself? Like, none of this makes sense. Like Zach said, you're just scratching the surface. So it's like nobody would know nothing and even be able to start a rumor if you didn't tell them. So I do have to hold Farrah accountable there. However, These are supposed to be her friends. So if they are so concerned, instead of downing her partner on a public platform, maybe y'all talk about that when the cameras aren't around. But Ben does apologize. He says that what real men do when they are entertaining or dating a woman, they date her, they figure it out. He said that if a man wants to, real men, they either gonna marry the woman they love or release her if they're not ready. I respected that. That he did apologize, but he also doubled down on what he said. Uh, I did not like Ben. He gave me like vibes in the beginning, if you guys look at my past recaps, but I'm starting to like Ben. I'm starting to like him because I respect that. You don't have to do the right thing or say the right thing all the time. But if you say the wrong thing, just be accountable. You don't have to change what you said, but apologize if it did harm someone, because that wasn't your intention in saying it, I'm sure. And he did that. It's not hard, people. It's not hard. People just like to make it look hard. That's all. Anywho, you guys, Santi, aka Santiago, he is the agent who sold J-Lo and Ben Affleck the house by being diligent enough to just knock on doors. Door knocking, it's common in sales. But he is meeting with Joey, Ben, and Zach to come look at a property. So Santi mentions the Miami trip, and he explains that he's upset with Zach. Santi is the top agent in the agency globally, has a lot of power apparently in the industry, and it's not someone you want on your negative side. So Santi questions Zach. He's like, I don't like that you came over to the agency. We're a family. We try to do things differently here. And now you're talking about leaving because of the Hilton offer, and especially knowing the history. Santi's like, what are you doing? And Zach explains that he just wants to consider his options, but that he's still committed. Here's the thing. I get where Zach is coming from. My thing is, why can't he have ownership in Hilton and Highland? Because I'm sure it's just a percentage, as well as work with the agency and sell. I think this is a good example of family beefs getting in the way of people doing jobs, if that makes sense. Rick Hilton and Mauricio Umansky are brother-in-laws, whether they like it or not. Kathy and Kyle are blood sisters. So, this is stupid. The other thing I will say, it doesn't make sense. If you are loyal and committed to being at the agency, then why don't you say, like, listen, regardless on if I accept this offer from Rick or not, I'm going to stay at the agency and continue to sell homes with you guys. But the problem with that, you guys, is that Rick and Mauricio do not want to work together. So it's not going to be like if they could co-list something with a different agency or a real estate agency or something like that. Like, because these men don't want to work together. So it comes back to the family beef, which is childish. These are 50-plus-year-old men, businessmen and fathers, arguing, and they're both successful, massive multimillionaires. One of them's dang near billionaire. And you guys are really arguing. There's so much room for everybody in LA. I don't think people understand how large Los Angeles is. Like, this is, to me, just childish. And I feel like Zach, to some extent, is getting caught in the crossfire. But Zach does say what's real. He's like, I'm worried about my family and what's best for them, and that's it, which I respect. Santi says he don't trust Zach, and, this may impact Santi ever wanting to work with Zach again. And it's looking like this Hilton thing could actually hurt Zach's reputation and ability to make sales because of how big Santi is in real estate. I don't know. This is stupid to me. Because I feel like these people are rich enough. Listen, my regular income having so understands a non-compete clause. I don't know if anyone else has heard of that. I've had to sign those sometimes, just being in management for companies and things like that. Common example, Petco. I couldn't apply to work or work at a PetSmart after being a store manager for Petco for many years. They were like, I have to wait like 3 years or something before working, or I could be in violation of the clause. It was weird, but they do those. So I'm like, Mauricio and Rick, if y'all don't want agents that work with you to go work with the opposite, then you need to have them sign a non-compete compete clause. Have them sign paperwork, call your attorneys, but to be getting upset and putting pressure on people for entertaining offers from other places, that's actually in California workplace harassment. And Santi needs to relax. And yes, that applies even to independent contractors, agents, and things of that nature. So I don't know. I'm just very, very annoyed with that. I didn't like how Santi did that. I understand you're trying to be loyal, bro, but relax. Relax. And at the same time, Zach, you're taking too long. Make a decision. What they say, shit, or get off the pot. That's what, yeah. Anywho, like the video again if you are still here. We are nearing almost the end of this recap. There was just a lot that went on in this episode. So Michelle is at a property that she's going to be co-listing with Alexia. I believe it's the Green Meadow property. And she's complaining already, talking crap about Alexia to her staff. Talk about how Alexia is late. Listen, I don't know if anybody understands LA traffic, but it's terrible. When it comes to driving up to those hills to get to them beautiful houses on them hills, you're driving through thin roads and there's cliffs nearby. No, I don't understand why Michelle is doing all that complaining. It's annoying. But Michelle's saying that she's going to make Alexi bring it and work for her commission. She's acting as if Alexia is lazy, which I don't like because y'all know I have been very vocal. I feel like Alexia is a hard worker, and I feel like if anybody will take over the company, it would be her. And why are you treating this girl like she has zero experience when, as she said in the episode, in 1 year, she sold $36 million worth of property? So, you know, your dad, all he did was give her the name. But people are not just going to buy a home, something so important to them. And especially wealthy people, they're wealthy because they make thoughtful decisions. They're not just going to buy a home from this girl because of who her daddy is. They're not. So I don't like, excuse me, I don't like how Michelle is literally like trying to make it seem like the girl knows nothing. So she comes in, Alexia, and immediately they get to business. And Michelle is immediately telling her stuff she already knows, such as the toilet seats need to be down. This is what you do to prepare for showings. I actually respected Alexia. Mind you, we opened the show looking at, I believe, like $126 million property, that rustic ranch that she is co-listing with Joey, where the agent commission is like a couple million. So I'm pretty sure she knows how to put together a showing. If y'all get what I'm trying to say. She has an intern working under her because she knows enough. So, Michelle, I'm so tired of you, sis. You really need to stop. Michelle is one of them chicks who just ain't met. She ain't met the right one. If you know, you know. She ain't met the right one. She has not. She has not. She does later on with Farrah, but she has not. She has not. And everybody think, oh, you ain't met the right one. No, that doesn't mean to those, get out your stereotypical minds. That does not mean that somebody's going to get ratchet or go off or get a little attitude. No, you can, as Farrah said, be a silent assassin, a silent killer. You absolutely can. You don't always have to go off to get your point across. Fun fact and a slight piece of wisdom for you. Anyway, Alexia is taking it in stride and is very humble. I like how she did remind us in the confessional, though, how much money she's made the company. Michelle's just selling in the valley, so y'all get where I'm going. So the day of the showing, everyone on the cast arrives, all the agents and things. And it's interesting that Miss Michelle was making it seem like the girls only partied, but she hired flamingo dancers at a showing for a house. That's just strange. Adam comes and he does run into Sophia, to which Sophia finally apologized for all that happened with him and her. I appreciated Adam's honesty. He made it very clear to Sophia, but not Melissa, Peep Game, that he would never date her because he's a 30-plus-year-old man and she is his boss's 23-year-old daughter. No, I don't think that will happen. But I do think that she was less thirsty, and I'm glad they nipped it in the bud. So Alexia gives a tour of the house, and Michelle is lurking everywhere, watching her, like just trying to look like a teacher of some sort. She's awful. I know teachers, like actual educators, are looking at that like, no, you cannot just lead with negative enforcement and negative punishment. You cannot do that to people. It doesn't get positive. But Alexia was good. She did very well, and Michelle was impressed by her. So I appreciated that. That did show me like maybe Michelle's putting on the front for the show and can be fair, because at the very least, I don't like this lady, but at least she gave credit where credit was due to Alexia. I respect that part. Just that part. Oh my goodness. So we see Ben enjoying the amenities of the property. This is the other reason I'm starting to like Ben. You send Ben to a party, he's going to enjoy the drinks, the appetizers, the charcuterie, the food. He's going to enjoy the amenities. He's playing mini golf. He's enjoyed every single bit of the property. And Ben mentions to Joey how he feels about Michelle, which Ben does not like Michelle. He doesn't appreciate how she disrespected Tyler, his worker. And I respected Ben the way he stood up for Tyler, because Michelle is bitch. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. So he feels that Michelle is defaming the CEO and his family in order to move up, which is not smart. Joey says that it's sick and doesn't make sense that Michelle is working with Alexia all the while talking crap about her behind her back. And this is where Ben says the number one agency rule within our company is to not be assholes to one another. Let me tell y'all, this is where I said, this is why Ben and Brandon got into it. They are so alike. They are so alike. They are one and the same. They're both the messiest on the cast. Ben, you are petty, petty, petty. Ben said, we need to go tell the sisters what this wench said. You sitting up here co-listing a multi-billion-dollar property about to make guapole head, as my husband says, in commission with this lady that you talking crap about. Make it make sense. So Ben plays messy boots and goes over to talk to Alexia, Sophia, and Farrah. I'm like, oh Lord, you're gonna talk to the sisters first. They feel and sense tension. They start talking about like, how's it going with Michelle? Alexia, you could tell she was annoyed. She was less smiley. And they noticed they called it out. And that's when they used that as a way to go into the fact of what Michelle said. So Joey and Ben explained that Michelle said that the daughters running the company, as a reminder for those who don't remember, would be business suicide for the agency. She also stated that she should be the CEO instead of one of them. And the reason that she feels that way is because she says Farrah is too quiet. Sophia's lost and lazy, it seems. And she said Alexia doesn't have the experience or can't. She also said that none of these girls could go into a room full of, people in suits to sell homes to and command the room, which is a huge insult. Here's the thing. If you want to be CEO, say that. You can say, I feel like I would be a better fit than any of the daughters, and left it there. You didn't have to go in and then attack each of them individually in ways that weren't per se true. What I'm thinking is it seems that because Michelle has been with Mauricio, it seems also since the beginning of the agency, and she always speaks of the vision of watching the company grow. I feel like to some extent, Mauricio was able to get into, the luxury real estate market and all of that. Michelle's in the Valley. It's not as bad. I mean, we see our Queen Garcelle lives there and a couple of other big celebrities. California is very expensive, but I feel like she's jealous of Mauricio and taking it out on his kids. I feel like she's upset and jealous that his kids have grown up, not just rich, but like well off, pretty much with guaranteed careers. They could have gone and done reality TV, become models. Their mom's an actress and their father is the top real estate agent in the world. So I think she's jealous of these girls' privilege. Here's the thing. When I talk about privilege, especially as a Black woman, it's usually like if someone's using their privilege in a way that seems racial, but privilege is not always connected to those racial biases and negative, connotations that we're used to in today's time. Privilege is the definition that it is privilege. Someone who is well off, they have it easier than others when you compare. And I don't think it's right to beat up people who grow up with privilege. I don't think that's right at all. I grew up broke in the hood when my parents went to college and got their stuff together. We went and got sent to a private school. I got to see the difference. You can't be mad at people for that. They do not choose that. And it just seems like Michelle, at the end of every comment she makes about the girls in this reasoning, she always, Lexi is going to have to work for it. She can't just, I had to work, so she has to work just because her daddy, she keeps bringing that up. And these girls, they do not act, in my opinion, on this show as if they expect to just have stuff handed to them. I really do think Kyle and Mauricio did a very good job at raising their kids. They don't act like spoiled brats, if that makes sense. I can't speak for Sophia yet because we haven't gotten much of her. But for Alexia and Farrah, from what I see, they're not lazy. They're not spoiled. They don't seem to be brats. They don't seem to discriminate. They seem like the rest of us, just with money. And nothing's wrong with that. And Michelle seems to want to beat them down and, diminish their accomplishments just because of that. And that don't make no sense. That's whack. So, last scene of the show, Alexia basically, Farrah is upset. Farrah was pissed before we get there. Farrah was extremely upset that she was caught quiet because Farrah is a top agent, has sold for a while, has also done the job of selling houses and the background stuff because I guess Mauricio too lazy hiring certain people, so Farrah steps in a lot. So in my opinion, Farrah's the backbone of the company from what I see. But she didn't like that she was called quiet, and Farrah reminded us the biggest bosses are quiet. Maybe Michelle needs to take a notch out of our book, our dad's book, because Mauricio is kind of quiet, and take it a notch down. They even read her for filth like ladies so elegantly. Look at them. Oh, I tell you, that Alexia looks just like Kyle, y'all. That is Kyle's twin. Kyle's twin. They all look the same. But it's funny? Sophia is Mauricio's twin. They're just so cute. They look like they all look the same though. Anywho, Alexia feels insulted at what she's heard, and her sisters are insulted as well, as they should be, and they decide to confront Michelle on what she said, and they immediately go to the business suicide. Michelle candidly says, I did not use the words business suicide. I said, oh, hell no. So you've been out here talking about how to the point you are and how real you are, and when you get confronted, now it's I didn't say that. Heifer, you said that, girl. Why you lying? You don't got to lie to kick it, Michelle. That's why I say people like her ain't met the right one, because the first thing she did was take back what she said. Can't stand it. Then Michelle says that what she said, she clarifies. She says, what I said is I deserve a seat at the table. And Farrah explains that, yes, just because we're Mauricio's daughters, we don't expect to automatically be the ones considered for something that we're not qualified for. We have to earn it too. Farrah's smart. That's how she started. And then she goes, and yes, you absolutely deserve a seat at the table. But why can't you ask for a seat at the table and state that that's what you think you deserve without tearing us down? And then she goes, why did I mean to tear you down? I was just saying this. Farrah goes, yeah, but why did you attack each of us? Why did you have to go talk crap? Let me tell you this. Farrah definitely is a silent boss, a silent killer. When I say Kyle and Mauricio don't have to worry when they get old and gray and go with the good Lord, I think Farrah will be looking out for her sisters and her family. I think she will be the one protecting them because she did not play. She read Michelle for filth. It looked like Michelle didn't know what to say, and I can't wait to recap the next episode because looks like they're gonna tell their daddy. And all I know is when I tell my daddy that somebody done something to me, you don't want to tell dads somebody play with their kids, especially daughters. Like, you don't want that. So I'm curious to see how Mauricio handles it because these are his kids. But right now, I'm loving Farrah. I respect you, Alexia. Keep thriving. And Sophia, call Ford Modeling Agency or, Tyra. Maybe not Tyra. I've heard she's not the nicest. Call somebody, girl, because the talent is there. You got the look. Anyhow, you guys, we have reached the end of this recap. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are in this recap watching a music video from Also Best, B3ST, and B Money Be Manifested, both artists from the Bay Area. We are going to watch the music video for their lead single from their EP, Tenderly Manifested, which is available on all platforms, all of them. That means you can listen anywhere. They are available on all platforms. The song is called Flood. We're going to watch the video. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing. We do these recaps quite often. And I appreciate all of you and hope and wish that you have the very best day, week, morning, afternoon, and night. Adios.
What's up, Oso? Hey, what's this they talk about? It's a drought. Like, what we say?
Oh, yeah. The drought is over, about to be a flooding county. These niggas lifting weights and I ain't talking about it. Niggas nerve bittersweet like a motherfucker. Shit. The drought is over, about to be a flooding county. These niggas lifting weights and I ain't talking about it. No, niggas nerve bittersweet like a motherfucker. I'm the bear, I'm the best and ain't so. Heard them shots round the block, do not go there. Where I'm from, they run up, they give no cares. They share no fucks, and don't be acting like you better shut the fuck up. Well, hit that whip up, hit that face if that is he dead. Stay out the way, myself hit my mattress. Bitches get out the restrooms, ain't that some shit? Shoot at your Christian kids, man, ain't that a bitch? Where the top sit, no place for the witch, and many let out of prison due to a mistake. Can't fully express my thoughts, I'll get canceled. I'd rather keep real pussy up on that pedestal. If I keep them 100, then they bout to flip like comments. 90s, baby, got respect for being on. Nowadays, niggas is sensitive, they got their dick. Booty tickle, hella man, like they got their dick. Keep a freak on my dick, that is class. When niggas only in my section, no last. Keep a freak on my dick, that is class. When niggas only in my section, no last. Real niggas on, real niggas on. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas.
Call me Lil Hurricane, how I'm flooding. Steve Urkel jeans, how I'm coming. I'm flooding. Do 'em like some donuts, call me Duncan. With this floor, I leave 'em real cracked egg McMuffins. Oops, I ain't mean to make 'em sick, Robitussin. How I got up on the beat was disgusting. If we ain't talking about the drip, how we flooding. Even in the eye of my storm, I be crushing. Call my ruins Noah, cause they know they flooding. They pump it up and let it blow, no Joe Budden. In this life, you always reap the soul, how you towing? Yeah, I'm finna bubble with these racks, but I ain't blowing. Hit 'em fast, leave with blast, how I'm flooding. Ask the haters why they always clucking. Dime a dozen. How I crash, I be super bad, no McLovin. I don't need a car, I got the art, how I'm flooding.
Real niggas on, real niggas on. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Haha. Good for y'all.